Gamergate, gaming journalism. What's going on? Tell me all about it. Well, I will. This is a Riptide, also known as Eric Lightborn. And today, I noticed a little thing going on that Sargon of Akkad and other people in this web movement, hashtag web movement, referring to themselves as Gamergate, you may or may not have heard of it. Well, they're trying to kind of elect a person to represent them at this thing called the Society of Professional Journalists. And hey, I already knew about them, and that's pretty cool to send someone there in your stead to Orlando this year, upcoming months. I like these ideas. I was right there in Sargon of Akkad's chat room today. I probably should have got in like this, but I didn't, so whatever, who cares. Right now I'm doing this instead. And I was talking to Shoe on Head, fellow YouTube user, and I was talking to a whole bunch of people in there. Too hard to remember all those names. A lot of people going, coming, it's chat room, whatever. So here's what I think. I think the most suited figure to represent the Gamergate web movement, of which I am loosely associated and have covered before here on my channel, is none other than Liana Kerzner. Another option, which is, you know, let's do that too kind of thing. Whoever wants to go, everybody, is Oliver Campbell from the hashtag Not Your Shield. Yes, that guy. Now, we also have like Mercedes Carrera and a whole bunch of other people that I could raise. I think some of the better choices would be people that are like the grassroots folks. That's what a lot of people are saying. But the people they say want, who you want, who now? Sargon of Akkad's not doing it. Mundane Matt's not doing it. They're not doing it. They're not on camera, folks. So they're not doing it. I'll do it. I'm probably not the best representative. AlphaOmegaSin. There you go. That's one I've mentioned in a previous video that kind of falls in this category in my head where he's like good at this kind of thing, where he does gaming and he's also ethical and he's also fun. He has an audience. He talks about these things. There's lots of people like me. I think Shoe on Head's kind of in there with me too, where it's just like we could go, but we're weird, silly people with comedy and stuff. They might not really get what we're talking about or something. I'm studied in journalism. I'm not a professional journalist. I'm a writer, freelance writer. I'll do anything. Show me the contract is always what I'm talking about. It's like, show me what you're freaking offering me. I'll write for almost anyone. I'll work for almost anyone, but I'm not doing anything. I'm not just going to like make up crazy shit. I'll try and find some way to work for you. If you're offering me a job and it's some crazy contract, I'll try and work it out. And that's kind of the big difference with a lot of these Gamergate people is they're like, ethics, 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 ethics. And I'm just kind of like, money, you idiots. You offer me some fucking money. Here I come to Gamergate. You offer me web banter, then maybe I'm working for Gawker tomorrow, you morons. So that's the other part of it, is I was kind of thinking, looking through all this and kind of like throwing down Liana Kerzner and noticing the people kind of talking in Sargon's stream while I was in there. Didn't really want to like recognize that suggestion or pay much mind to it really. But then again, we were chat room bantering, so who knows if they even read it. And the point is that probably the best way to go about it, if you wanted to be like kind of shady and like fuck with people, would be to send like David Pakman and say that he's from Gamergate, if he would even do it. Because like he's so damn ethical over the damn top and he talks about Gamergate. And some of the better choices would probably, other than the people I mentioned, not be people like Catherine Sommers, Milo, blah, 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 and anybody from, what are they, Airplay or whatever, like none of those people, like Investigamer, AlphaOmegaSin, all kinds of people from YouTube who may or may not be willing to do it. And it's months away, and it's the kind of thing where we don't need to all scramble and run around and do Gamergate Madness 10,000. I like Sargon's idea, SPJ Ethics Week. Let's talk about this. Let's make videos about this. Let's see if we can find kind of a consensus somewhere on the internet about what the hell this is. The Kotaku in action. And other fuckwad people. are out there doing their fucking thing. So let's do our fucking thing over here on the independent media, the real gaming journalism kind of stuff. Yeah, that's right. Independent people are the only people who do it right, and all you Gamergator people claim to know that and say that's true. Well, here we are. What are you going to do? Are you going to send one of us there? You're going to, encourage us to get a bunch of our stuff together so we can do it right now and you're going to help us with it? Or are you going to tell us that you're all going to vote for some sleazy-ass, massively political person like Catherine Sommers to go for you? Like, oh, that's ethics. Republicanism is ethics. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. Gamergate has a chance to divine itself at long last. Get excited. You get to be important. You get to go to formal things. So they say on the internet. Is it all a bullshit? I don't know, actually. I'm looking into that still. I don't think so, though. I think they're open to kind of taking on anti-GG and GG and this kind of thing within that specific thing at Toronto this year with the... what is it? Society for Professional Journalists. Society Professional Journalists. SPJ. So yes, Gamergate. Send me. Because, hell yeah, Eric Lightbourne. Pow! Expose on Anita Sarkeesian. Never really clearly talked about Gamergate ever on the blogs, but I'm still there. Done like 2 podcasts on it, and that's about it. Other people have like covered it like at hours and hours. So yeah, there's better choices than me. Shoe on Head is like funny. She sent her. But she probably doesn't want to do it. So let's send Liana Kerzner. That's good. They keep calling us sexist. Let's send a woman to razz them. You send Mercedes Carrera, you got a problem. Not that there's anything wrong with her. She's not very intelligent. But she works in the porn industry, and they're going to try to use that to defame her and define her in ways that are unfair. So that's an element that's just going to happen more than that's a cool or fucking righteous thing to any of that. Yeah, like Oliver Campbell, just because he's like independently in this kind of thing. Kind of obvious that he didn't like come into it through some kind of like, And I don't know, I have a strong like, to some of the people that were in the Sargon of Akkad live stream chat Google Hangout thing that I did not participate in video-wise, but I was participating in and watching nonetheless, is some of those people who were dominating near the end. And some of the others, it's like, nothing personal, but I do not want you representing Gamergate at any kind of formal setting, like, period, no matter what. That's totally fine if other people have that critique for others. I think that's kind of what we should get into here, just for a little bit, is Gamergate should turn the lens on itself, and maybe not be mean, but put out some critiques between all the Gamergaters. Chris Raygun, whoever. Just somebody who talks about Gamergate. Critique them or mention to them they should do this or talk about this. This is the thing now. Who's going? Will they go? Will they represent us fairly? Will anti-Gamergate people show up and trying to find the whole thing? Should we do it at all? Is it important? What do you think? That's my question. Because I'm considering just doing it kind of like despite everything. Just to do it. Kind of thing. So I don't know. If it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. It's not like there's other things that aren't going on in the world today that we might do instead of talk about Gamergate and talk about journalistic ethics in the media and gaming and how everyone can be totally hoodwinked and it's all totally fine and that's just how things work today and you don't have to put up with it, speak out against it. But it's still the markets, and it's still how these things work, where you're not going to just shut someone down because they were lying. You've got to actually show that they did something completely illegal or sue them or something like that. So that's why Gamergate and all of that is good, is because they were bringing up pressures, and now the pressure's shifted. Define yourself better than they're defining you. They're calling you a hate movement. They're saying you're all sexists. Define yourself better than that. Put someone forward at an ethical, professional, journalistic setting that talks about Gamergate and explains what the hell it is, and they're not an avatar and they're not someone who doesn't want anything to do with writing and journalism. There's someone like me, Liana Kerzner, many others, who are willing to use our really real names and really talk about our careers in the context of things we write and statements we make. I'm pretty wild. She's a little wild, you know, like I don't think there's anybody in the Gamergate thing that's not a little bit wild. Investigamer. Bunch of names I could drop here. You know them if you're Gamergate. You know the ones that are there. So think about it for a minute. Write a comment. Click the like button. Anything like that. Think about this. It's months in ahead, so, you know. Give it some time. Give it some thoughts. Play a video game later because they're fun. And I'm going to play Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls and try and hit level 70 with my Crusader like tonight. That's what I'm going to fucking do tonight. What are you doing tonight? Well, I don't know. But I do think that you should leave a comment and tell me who you think would best represent the Gamergate movement at the SPJ 2015. Tell me now. Right now. No, not right now. When you have a moment, tell me about that, if you care. I would like to hear about it. Thank you. Yeah, so it's a real thing. I just looked it up before I finished it out for this video. It's a real thing. Did all my research. Where are we? spjethicscode.asp. Reaction. And some other sources here. All confirm this is a real thing. They kind of like don't want to talk about it anymore. Oh, what do you know? Well, we're not going to drop it. So yeah, it's a real thing. People seem to kind of think that June is Shoe on Head's name. People kind of think that June should go, kind of like how I'm kind of favoring Liana Kerzner. There is the, we are really political conservatives right now, and we want really political conservatives to be doing this. People, and those are the people who talk about Christina Hoff Sommers and talk about Milo, why, whatever. And some of the other people, it looks bad. You look like Jenny. You know, you look like Jenny. I don't know what's going on. You look like Jenny. So, you know. And some of the others are not like what they appear. I'm probably one of those, where whatever people think about us and then what we really are. And then there's tons of people like Sargon of Akkad, who are not going to fucking do this, no matter how many times you people say, oh, I want Sargon. It's like, well, he's told you no. So get over it and move on. And yeah, so that's definitely where we're at with it. It's a real thing. The SPJ is done with this. They don't want anything to do with it, but they're not going to be able to stop it. If someone shows up in the name of this, they're not going to be able to be like, oh, you can't talk about this anymore. Because it is this valid issue. It's a real thing. There's people behind it. So yeah, if you're serious, Gamergate, if you're not fucking around, and it's not just like, hey, look at my web views, if it's actually about gaming journalism and holding people to accountability, rather than everybody's idea of what morality and ethics possibly could contain, but accountability to what you did, what you're putting out there, and whether or not you're going to back it up or back away from it. That kind of thing is what people like me do, and we're not alone. And there's all kinds of things you can find that are very different between one person and the next who does this. For instance, the person writing this article I was just reading from the Society of Professional Journalists was talking about how they will not talk about how anyone will be fired. They'll never talk about that, like who should be fired in journalism or anywhere. It's like, I won't talk about that. That's muckraking. That's what I do, and I don't do it like rampantly. I don't just randomly say that all the damn time. It's like something where when it's a valuable criticism, to say, you know what, that's so bad, they should lose their job over it. Then I'll make that criticism, but I don't make it all the time. And same thing with drawing out connections. It's like, look, I'm drawing out a connection. If I had all the facts, I'd present that. Drawing out a connection. These things look funny, and I'm convinced of what I think. And if somebody can disprove me, you know, like that's muckraking. You're asking the audience to see things your way. And you're actually like saying, hey, those people should lose their jobs. That's as old as journalism. And in this day and era with corporate money and whatever other concerns with PC culture or whatever else it is, people don't want people like me around. And they don't want Sargon of Akkad around. But they like June and they like Liana Kerzner. So let's send them because, yeah. And what was the other thing? Mercedes Carrera. Very intelligent, well-spoken woman. May have slightly misspoken before. But the, prejudices of bullshit people will definitely get in the way there, because these are all the ethics people. They're going to be like, oh, ethics. You can't show boobs and be ethics. And, like, that's the point that I would make is, yes, you can, but that's the problem is, like, you need someone who's going to relate to those people at that level if you're really going to do something with this SPJ Ethics Week beyond just bandy into the internet about it and argue with each other about who should send what other person that doesn't want to go and won't do it, So yeah, get serious. Get a Gamergate rep going to this thing. And if you don't, I'm going to not talk about Gamergate wrap-up. I'm going to start doing Gamergate dead type shit. I'm going to make Lee Alexander come and fucking ask me for some damn tips.